Hey, we're actually going to talk about fees and bugs and how it all works in the world of content and digital. So before I get into it, I like the idea and the concept of simplifying your life, simplifying your business, and simplify the businesses. An idea that I'm building. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. You can
This is not good.
Yeah, that's better. That's
Give me a
good.
second.
Close.
Hold on.
Yeah, closer.
I think the audio feed, how's that?
Yeah, better.
Alright, cool. So I like the idea of simplifying things like your life, your business, your content, your designs, everything else. And I believe every single individual in this room has the power to do some amazing things with some of the most basic weaknesses, with basic and simple technologies in our pocket. But before we get into that, I want to get into something a bit more interesting. Well, who am I? I'm a geek and I'm also a nerd. That also makes me a good. There we go. I did have a boss, his name was Good. I couldn't use that nickname. So it was terrible. But other than that, I'm a dad, so I do tell horrible jokes. I'm sure the dads here get it. Peter, not yet, but you'll get to it. I've got two little monsters, Dylan and Lana, 3 and 5, so they're the reason why I stand here every day, or my other job. I work at an agency. I've been in the digital industry pretty much for the last 15 years. Had a company called Digital Spot. I decided it was time to change and join a larger agency. So I currently work for a group called DDV. They're part of a larger group called Omnicom. They're the second largest marketing agency in the world. Digital marketing, I should say, and they do TV and radio. But what is the story with the bees here today? Anyone?
Without them, the world stops.
Without them, the world stops. Why? Okay, they pollinate flowers. So if you look at a flower, is it a supplier? Is it a client? Or if you look at the bee, what is it? Who's the supplier, who's the client? Show of hands. If you think you know the answer. You said both. Yeah. Who says both? Yeah. Everybody, both? Cool. It is both. It is actually a symbiotic relationship. Okay? They depend on each other to survive. And it's the exact same thing with business. You cannot charge your customers more than what they can afford to pay you. Your customer cannot force you to drive your prices down more than you can afford to be in business. So if you don't have the right customer, because they can't afford it, guess what? Somebody's going to die. And what happens when the bee dies? Everything dies. So that means if your funds get cut out, you don't have a business, you can't pay your mortgage, you don't have your beautiful, flashy new car, oh well, might as well go and find a little spot of that comfortable bridge. Okay. Now, here's the next question. Why is the heart of a hexagon?
The optimum packing algorithm.
Optimum packing algorithm. Who agrees with that?
The strings love it, but they fit together.
Do they fit squares fit together pretty well?
Yeah, but not strong.
So the triangles
Strong.
they're strong. Okay. I like that. I like that. The most amount of value, the least amount of energy, in the most efficient way. That is why bees do that globally across the world. They've evolved to understand their environment so well that every single bee, regardless of the type or the species of bee, they know their work, their business, their house, their life inside out, and they've perfected it over millions of years. So the question is, when you look at your business, when you look at the things you do you actually store the most amount of value with the least amount of energy in the most efficient way? Well, how can we do that? Ooh, that's the trick. I believe there are 6 pillars in everything we do. If you look at our life, we build a civilization around people. I know this talks about content marketing, what's this got to do with the trust, but just hang in there. We'll get there. It's about people. So who you hang out with, Serena was mentioning, who you talk to, who you hang out with, they influence your decision, they influence your everyday life. They actually influence how you feel. Who here walked into a room and there's been somebody saying, good afternoon guys, today I'm going to talk about blah, 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 and you're just like, okay, I'm going to leave. what happens is you feel the energy, feel the vibe, it just drains you. You just feel like, I don't want to be in there. So it's important to have the right people. Invest in the right people, and you are part of that person. Serena mentioned she spends $12,000 a year on self-development. Absolutely. You are the biggest investment in the world that you will ever have. Without you, you've got nothing. Whether it's your health, whether it's your wealth, whether it's your business, your family, it is always about you. Trust me. I went through it over the last 2 years. I went through a divorce. So you kind of you get to a different mindset, different way of thinking. So it's about people, first thing. Second thing, there are so many people out there. How do you manage all of everything? You systemize it, you invest in your systems, in your processes, you optimize your systems. So you train your people, you set up your systems, you set up your processes, and you tweak it. Next thing, innovation. Government loves it. If Malcolm Turnbull here is like, I like the presentation already. Do you want a grant for it? So innovation, innovate. Challenge the way things have been done. Don't be afraid if you have an idea. Say, how often do we hear, actually, I had this great idea and I sat on it and somebody else done that so well. Why? Because you couldn't be bothered, or did you not believe in it? Or was it not worth your time, or you didn't have the resources? Well, guess what? We have the resources, we just have to find it. If your life depends on it, you'll figure it out. So innovate, create new ideas, new concepts, and challenge the way things have been done and move forward. And next part. Directly underneath people, extra innovation is your products. So from innovation, you end up creating your products. You innovate, you create products. You've already got the systems in place, you've got the people there trained in the product. Okay. After that, you're going to need money. You're going to need the finances to sell it, to market it, to pay people for it, to innovate more, to build more systems. And to do that, to get more finances, you're going to need this little guy called growth. You need to grow. So as a business, I think these are the 6 pillars that you need to be able to effectively develop your business to make it as effective as what a bee has evolved to be today, to the point where our entire existence as human, every other species on this planet depends on us. So you could actually do that. But there's one very, very important aspect of these 6 pillars. If you don't do that, you'll have nothing. And that is sustainability. You have to do everything in a sustainable manner. Your brightest minds, your most intelligent, most creative, most effective employee in your organization can possibly only work so many days, a certain number of hours. Look after them so you don't drain them. Your systems can only handle so much pressure, so much request before it goes down. You can only innovate so much. If you don't create a product out of it, innovation stops. You can only sell so many products unless you have the growth and the people and everything else around it. So they all depend on each other. Okay? And the reason why I put that in the hexagon shape, yes, is because hexagons are actually made up of triangles. Triangles is the strongest shape in existence, and hexagon is the most efficient way. But if you look at it that way, technically that's really beyond. Now, why is that important? Now, what happens if you do this in your business and you want to grow? If you want to grow, go back one step. What do I focus on generally? I went too far. Okay, sustainability. If you want to grow as a business, if you want to acquire or be acquired by a large organization, if you have a system in place for the other people, just like a hive, you all fit together. And you start supporting each other, you can actually organically grow. Okay? Now, with this, what do I specialize in and work on pretty much every single day? Is this little guy here. Growth. Growth is the area that I focus on. Growth is the area that I work in every single day with the agency, the clients, and everyone. And that's the area that I have a lot of fun in. Now, growth and marketing. What's marketing all about? Tell me in a couple of words. Show of hands. What's marketing all about? Anyone?
It's about building a business, building a brand.
Why?
And all the collateral.
Why?
So people know about you.
Why?
And it's like
Why?
Survive.
Why?
survive.
Why? 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 How? Actually, no, you said it. You said it. Kind of said it. Like how? If you do things that you do, how? Yeah.
my friend and myself are having actually do it.
Does it work for you? I'll get to it. Okay. Why? Is because marketing is all about three things. Okay? The three things that marketing is about is, number one, it's about sales. It's about selling. Without sales, you don't have a business, you don't have a structure, you don't have an organization, you pretty much don't have much. Okay? Marketing is about sales, people, and communication. Okay? So when we look at growth, it's about understanding we need to sell, but we need to sell in a sustainable way. Do we have the system, do we have the process in place? Yes, we do. The next thing is about people, but people not necessarily in your organization, but also out there. It's about identifying people who have a problem, and whether your product or your service or your solution actually solves their problem. Then you have a challenge after that. How do you communicate with those people? How do you get your point across? It's about communication. And the world of social media, there's so much noise, and it's like really difficult to keep all the noise out. So it's very important to understand communication. But here's the interesting thing about communication. What is the most effective form of communication? Yeah. What is the most effective way to communicate with people? Face to face, yeah. Okay. After that, what is the next best form of communication with people? Sorry?
Social?
It's in there. So the next one is face-to-face is literally the top of the pyramid. If you can communicate with people and have the opportunity to be in front of the decision maker, that is the most effective way.
Word of mouth?
Sorry?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth is a strategy.
Yeah.
Okay? So first, it's about communication. Okay? Communication, the first thing is about you actually communicate with them directly one-on-one in this particular forum, engage with them. Then, what's Joomla doing up there? Just got something set up. Video. So video is designed to communicate with people to simulate a face-to-face environment. And if we can't do video, if we can't do video conferencing, what's the next thing we do? You already said it. Voice. Phone. What is after phone and voice? Right, text. What do we all do all the time? We do the text. We do the least effective method, which is text. And we don't just do it, we do it really poorly. We do it really horribly. And we fail as communicators to actually be able to get a point across. I'll give you an example. We go to a supermarket. My little boy stops, Dad, I want to buy this toy. I tell him we're not buying it. But I really want it. I said, do you really want it or do you need it? I really need it. Do you need it or do you want it? He goes, what's the difference? It was about 3.5. Ask me what's the difference. What was the issue of communication and deception going on? So we explained, and then I said, look, I've got $5. He said, okay, that's enough. I said, are you sure? And then I said, well, he goes, yes, I am sure, it's enough. I said, go buy it. And he goes, how do I buy it? I said, go to the lady and it's not going to be enough. And she goes, but what am I going to do if it's not enough? I said, you negotiate. He said, what is negotiate? I explained negotiate. He walked over to the lady and said, excuse me, miss. He goes, yes. He goes, can I buy this toy, please? She goes, $40, please. And he goes, $5. He goes, is that enough? And she's like, no, sorry, sweetie, it's not enough. She goes, can we please negotiate? So he didn't get the toy. He failed at negotiating. So that's the thing. It's like, it was a scenario, and the scenario was a learning opportunity. But I could have just said, no, you're not getting it. Let's go. We're going home now. Or else, that all goes downhill. We don't want that. It's an opportunity for us to communicate effectively and for him to learn from that opportunity. But we felt that in text doesn't allow us to do that very well. Okay. Content marketing. My favorite topic. Alright, what is it? Well, content marketing is execution, delivery, maintenance, and monitoring of your content on search engines, websites, blogs, and social media. Lots of noise. Okay? But you can't just send stuff out without a plan. You need a plan, you need a platform to launch from, and you need to be effective on it. So, one of the ladies here that before said you have to go online. And I was said, good, and she will go home. But just having a website or just being on Facebook, any of that stuff is not enough. It's actually nowhere near good enough. So, let's have a look at some stats. Who knows what that blue line's up there? Somebody said, sorry?
Social media stats?
Social media, what else? Mobile. It's a market share. Of what?
Social media users?
No. It's a market share of the search engines. Look at Google, look at the gap. And they've been up there for at least a decade. No one has even gone close to even getting to about 20%. Their biggest competition is social. That's the biggest threat to Google's existence, is social media. Up until 3 years ago, I think it was, Google was the most popular website on the internet. Now it's Facebook. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. Okay? Why is YouTube so popular? Because it's video. Video is more personable. If a picture tells 1,000 words, how much can you get out of a video? How often? When I do like work and stuff, when we do application development, when we do testing, or anything I want to check, I will never sit there and do screenshots and get a Word document to tell the designer or tell the developer, hey guys, we need to fix this. We've all got Macs or Windows. Actually, great. Can you open up QuickTime Cloud? Just open QuickTime Cloud. Just go Command spacebar.
I don't know this.
Awesome.
Right.
If you have a Mac, you have QuickTime Player by default.
Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. If you have a Mac, you have QuickTime Player. Okay. If you launch QuickTime Player on your sort of app bar down the bottom on the right-hand side, you can right-click on that, and then you get options. You get 3 options: to record a video, to record an audio, or record your screen. Has anybody here used it? Show of hands if you've ever used that. Cool. I thought you'd be using a computer. You've used it too? Okay. So I use that feature. It comes with your computer, and I just log in, press record my voice, record the screen, and go through the bug I just identified, go through the problem that I just seen, and then upload it to a Google Drive or to a Dropbox, and then add it to a Jira ticket or Trello board or to wherever I am doing, to the actual bug for it to be tracked, instead of me jumping on a Skype call because the developer's in Melbourne, and I have to explain to them what's going on. It's already there. They can just see it. Okay? Now you can do that for your clients. You can show your clients, and I used to do that all the time. We build all these websites. I would actually produce about 10 videos, and the videos would be how to do X, Y, Z. Now, this presentation here, I can easily deliver it, converting it to a video, and sending it out there. So that's a really cool feature. But if you look at Google, let's go back to the topic of Google. This is their market share. That was October 15. I know it's a bit old, but it hasn't changed. Maybe it's like the stock market, maybe 1 or 2% up or down, mostly up. And yeah, it's massive. They've got nearly 90% of the search. So if Google asks you, hey, we're going to take 90% of the search, should you listen to their algorithms and how they actually identify what you do? It's all right. I would be listening to the guy who's got 90% of the market share. And it doesn't matter how often Yahoo 7 does ads on TV, it's irrelevant. That was the communication we talked about too early. Now, here's the interesting thing about 2019. 80% of the internet traffic will be video. Video on demand will double to almost 7 billion DVDs per minute. Now imagine that, 7 billion DVDs per minute. 4K video will become the standard by 2019. Who here has a 4K phone? Yeah, it records at 4K. Screens, it's pretty much getting there.
You think it's going to be
Well,
Australia?
yes, but Google's trying to launch some balloons. They've done it on top of New Zealand to take the traffic. So internet video and TV shows grew by 47% in 2014 alone. Like likes of Netflix and all that just comes in, just wipes everything off. So once again, we're seeing a trend that because physically we can't be everywhere and communicate, video is dominating it because it's the best method and it's easiest these days to produce and to share. Tim and I went to Gold Coast a couple of months ago. We're not going to talk about what happened. Peter, it's okay.
Yeah, you've got to do everything.
No. And on the way way there, I just took snippets of videos and stuff. While we were there, we took videos. On one more back, we took videos. And I just, on the plane, I just sit there compiling it all into a nice little video of the whole journey. You can see just like a time lapse. Flights, flying, landing, out, doing activities, come back to the airport, come back to Sydney. And it's just on my phone. You, like, 5-10 years ago, you couldn't do that. It gives you so much history and so much more fun. You look at it like, oh yeah, I remember that, oh yeah, I remember that. It triggers so much memory. But for your business, you have to do the same thing for your clients. You have to create content that triggers memories in their minds, that makes it memorable. And if it's just a monotone text, nobody's going to read it. Who here read a 2,000 word blog in the last week? Yeah? Yeah? And if they did not capture your attention in the first paragraph or two, or first sentence, would you have continued reading for past the first page? Or the title wasn't catchy enough? You wouldn't. And how much effort did it require the author to put into that 2,000 words to actually make it engaging enough throughout? Could they do it with video? Yeah, it might take a little bit more effort, but could the reach be more than 2 or 3 people? I think it would be. Would it take as much time to read than to watch a video and to listen? No. Video is much quicker to deliver. And that's the reason why there's such a growth. Look at that. 17 million Australians on Facebook, followed by YouTube. WordPress. Damn it. Seriously. Apologies to all you Joomla lovers, but me too. But that's a fact. Like they're 7.2 million in Australia that is on WordPress. So it's all the mums. Who was the saying that they do all the ads? She's doing well, man. Snapchat, LinkedIn, Tumblr, WhatsApp, Twitter, TripAdvisor. We take a lot of holidays. Okay, that's the top 10, specifically that order. Okay. Now, we talk about Google and stuff all the way up there. What does Google want? Anyone? What does Google want from us?
Data.
World domination. Who said that one?
Data.
Why?
They want our data. They want to know.
How can they get more of your data?
By using it.
Socially sharing it for
Engagement. So Google wants more data because the more data they have, the more user they have, the better they can target. But here's the funny thing. Does Google actually produce any content?
Yes.
They own YouTube.
Strict.
They own YouTube, but kids on skateboards produce videos. Even the ads that they serve to everybody else, they don't create the ads.
Hardy,
Yeah.
Street View,
Street View?
which they produce.
Well, they do, but why do they do it?
Yeah,
There are some products that do.
obviously.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes, they do Street View, they do that. But the question is, why do they provide those services? They provide the services to collect more data. They make it so easy. Actually, a really good example to look at. Who's been to North Korea? I have. On Google Maps. But Google's never been to North Korea. Now, what did Google do? Like, this is the power of technology. Google said, this part of the world, and the same thing happened in Iraq. I've been there. It's okay. I was actually born there. They said this part of the world, Iraq and North Korea, is pretty much hidden to us. What can we do to get it mapped out? And they've got a lot of people who don't live in Iraq. They've got a lot of people who don't live in North Korea, and they made the platform available publicly. They provided their satellite imagery. Here's the image of your town from what we see from the top. Can you tell us what this building is? Can you tell us how long the street is? Can you tell us what the name of the street is? And within 2-3 years, pretty much the whole of North Korea and Iraq has now been mapped. So you could actually go to Iraq, go to Baghdad, turn on your GPS. I want to go to the Sheraton Hotel. It will guide you street by street. Streets might be blown up. There might be a couple of IEDs on the side of the road. Different challenges. It's there. You've got cats, dogs, kids, over there. You've got bombs. It's a little bit different, but that's the reality. But you can. So technology enables people, empowers people to create content. Why? It's because by creating more quality content, more people use that platform. The more people that use it, in the eyes of Google, we can target the more people better. But you as a business also have access to that data. And that's the magic. With that, Google giving you access to that data, there's no value in them alone.
Just add a new thing too. I just got invited to a content checking team or something.
Oh yeah.
Basically what happens now, every time I go anywhere, my phone will pop up and ask me whether I want to validate the data for where I am.
Oh, yeah, guys, Google guys.
Yeah, Google guys. Google, hey, wake up. Okay. So yeah, Google Guides.
That's another way of us giving them
If you look at your smartphone, whether it's an iPhone or an Android, if you on an iPhone, if you go to your settings, to your privacy, and then there's security or security privacy, location data is on, you click on location services, go right down the bottom, there is another tab, something about, I can't remember what it's called, something location by frequent locations. Actually, they track all that. They track all of that information, okay, unless you turn it off. Google does it, Apple does it, it's just part of life. Because, see, back in the olden days, you create a TV ad and you send out to everyone. And if it's a global product, you send it to the whole world, like Coca-Cola, and then your country in the world, you can get Coke. Okay, that's not whether it's Afghanistan, Iraq, or North Korea. Trust me, you can get Coke in North Korea. Maybe a different version of it, but it's a rip-off of it. They added in Iraq as well as a copy of it, not the original, until Coke came to I said, hey, slow down, Joe. Back up your business, and we're not going to do it this way. So you can get it, and what Google and Apple are trying to do is by you interacting, engaging with those local services, to verify the existence of that service in the area. You simply checking into a restaurant, you simply connecting to the tower here and getting that signal helps the business identify where you are and what service in the area, basically hobbies, interests, and likes. Okay? But as a business, you can actually get into a lot of that information. It's scary. Okay? So what Google actually wants from us, we kind of talked about it, freshen your content, add value, to create a buzz, and social signals. That's what he was talking about. If you think Google doesn't actually, you know how we create in the Joomla, it says index a page or index or no index, and follow or not follow. You've got that rule in your articles and your menus. All that is basically the social signal thing, index it so they can see it. But by default, even if you say no follow or no index, you've got no power over it other than telling it. Who's to say every single post that you do, even though their public algorithm, their public engine is not going to go out there and look at your social content, like your public content that Facebook says do not index. Who's to say Google doesn't index it? I truly believe they would index it. It would be silly. If I was Google, like, hey, dude, let's just go in the dark room and talk about this and index it because there's a lot of value in it. They don't need to tell everybody, they don't need to push it, but it's still a public page. So they do index it and they can see a lot of stuff and they might create another level of... Actually, the thing that freaked me out the most, I saw 2 months ago. We worked on this project for Volkswagen and we had a form on the Volkswagen website. And I mean, as you fill in the form, and I never knew you could do this with Google Analytics. Who uses Google Analytics here? Yeah. With Google Analytics, there's a particular setting. When you tag the forms, you can actually tag the value that the customer did, but not just to track it, but it actually can store it, including if it's a credit card form, that it will capture all that. It's just ridiculous. So if you have a website, if you have something like that, yes, Google security monitors that to make sure that the right information is being collected, but technically a form can be hacked that way so you can actually collect their customers' information. I was just like, whoa, this is just creepy. Like that's the capability you have. They're remotely collecting data as the user enters on the website through 6 lines of JavaScript code. Okay. Now, we talked about why we need to get into it again. Basically, with the way you create content, what they want to do is to build trust, create brand awareness, educate, solve problems, and sell. Even though the goal is to sell, but you have to use all these other things there to create this strategy to sell. Like I was saying before, marketing is about 3 things: about selling, people, and communication. Okay, without selling, you're not going to have a business. There are a few tips for you. First one at the top, this is 70-20-10. Was over before. Okay, 70-20-10 is about creating 70% of your content in-house that you share,
it needs to be educational content. It can't just be random. I feel like it, I'm going to send it out. Okay? Don't create noise. Create purpose, create agenda, and why you do it. Understand your why. 20% of the content you share has to be industry content that is developed for the purpose of educating your customers, so that you yourself stay relevant and your customers can see that. 10% of the content that you share, you ask someone, hey, would you like to sign up? Would you like to download? Would you like to buy? Otherwise, what I see quite often is, forget 20, let's add that to the first part of it. 90% of the time, sign up, buy, download, get this discount, and then 10% of the time, maybe something that could be education. It's a wrong model. So create content that is educational, create content that is for purpose, and share with the public for the purpose of educating them, and then 10% of the time, ask for information. 15 minutes per day. Who thinks you can do it in 15 minutes a day? Who thinks that's not realistic? It's 15 minutes of managing all my social media platforms. Oh my God. You can think for me, nuts. You can do that in 15 minutes quite easily, because if you understand why you do it, if you understand the goal, and if you have actually planned and identified your objectives of what you're going to deliver, 15 minutes is perfect. So 15 minutes could be, I will write 3 or 4, I'll take 2 images, modify them, write something about it, put a bit of text, upload it, or schedule it. Okay? Once you've done one piece of content, and you've scheduled it, and you've tracked it, and you measure it, you have your content calendar, okay, like all this stuff's important, I'll get into it a bit more. You can repurpose that content again on a different platform through a different format. Just like the slides. These presentations, I can just go sit there, record my screen with my voiceover, add a bit of music, it was cool, have an intro slide, have an exit slide with a call to action at the end, upload it to YouTube, upload it to, send it to my private group on Facebook. You know, so you can do that. Mobile apps. Who here edits photos and creates content on their mobile app every day? Yeah. What apps like Canva? Because use Canva. Who has got Photoshop on their phone? You can use Photoshop, you can use Canva. There's like a whole bunch of apps that I can literally have a whole folder in here just for content creation. This is ridiculous. But hey, they're lucky about me apps. So with these apps, you can create so much, so quickly, okay, and actually here's something interesting. See this page here? We have a single app with the exception of the bottom bar. It's a Google app. Owned by Google, run by Google. There's just so much out there, and you just got to use them and to experiment with it to learn what's going on. So yeah, I've got Lightroom, I've got Canva, I've got what else? Photoshop Express, I've got Blend, like they're all different sort of apps that I use for editing content and changing it. Okay. To schedule content from your phone, you can use, who's used Buffer app? Buffer? Hootsuite, Buffer, some of the cool apps, you can get them on there. You can actually create it, edit it, schedule it from the phone. You could be on the bus, on the train, on the way to work, or between meetings. So that tracking and measurement, most of these apps like Buffer that can actually track it. You have to set up a content calendar. Content calendar is very, very important for any small business, because that's when you have a session and you define what you're going to publish when. So when it comes to a content calendar, you have to define what are your daily activities, what are your weekly, your monthly, your quarterly, annually. An example of a daily activity will be, we have to send out 2 social media, 2 Facebook posts, 2 Twitters, 2 Instagram posts every single day. Let's schedule my entire calendar. Weekly could be a blog. We write a blog every week. Monthly could be a white paper or a survey or something a little bit more, maybe a video interviewing an expert or something that requires a little bit more effort. And then your quarterly could be having an event, or annually could be having an event. You just define all that. Define the goals and the objectives of each one of those clearly. Assign responsibilities. You yourself can't do everything. Assign it to who's responsible for it. Okay? And be consistent. Don't just go up and down and then disappear. Be consistent in your messaging. Be consistent in the subjects you share. Be consistent in delivering value to your clients and creating awesome content that just helps them understand, answer questions. I'm going to share 2 simple strategies here. I'm going to pick I need 2 or 3 volunteers to tell me 2 things. One, if they're on LinkedIn, yeah, there's one nominated out there. The one on the left there is actually on the laptop. I need basically 2 people say, who's on LinkedIn? Show of hand, put your hands up if you're on LinkedIn. Hands in the air if you're on LinkedIn. Okay. Now, if you're on LinkedIn, who's on LinkedIn groups? Who's on LinkedIn groups? Just keep your hand up if you are, let me get this right. If you're on LinkedIn, in a LinkedIn group that is within your industry. Keep your hands in the air. Okay. Now, the question is why? There are 2 reasons you need industry groups. Number 1 would be, I want to know what the industry's doing. But number 2 is like, I want to get my name out there. Now, tell me this. Who here, who's on LinkedIn groups, are members of groups that's within their target market or their audience? Are you? Anyone? Yeah? 2, 3, 4? Because that's where the opportunities are. If I'm working with, if I work with accountants, if I work with financial planners, if I want to work, with people who I want to specialize in the finance industry or motor vehicle or telco. These are the groups I want to be in. I don't want to be in a Joomla user group. I'm sorry. No offense to Joomla. I love the application. I've used it for so many years, over a decade. But the truth is, okay, as a business, as a person, you cannot survive just depending on one thing. You have to be where your clients are, where your audience are, and join those groups. But don't just join. Join with an agenda, with a plan, with a goal. So have a content plan, create a plan. Now, here's the interesting thing. If you are a member of a group, you don't even need a plan sometimes. You know why? Because members of those groups ask questions. And if you happen, like you're a web developer, you're a business consultant, or you're a mechanic, or even if you're an, accountant, you can jump in there and answer those questions to build that trust, to create those 12 touch points that you were mentioning earlier. It's an opportunity, it's right there. Take advantage of it. So that's one. The second one, I should not have slided there. Sorry. Who here has a website? Yeah, we all have a website, fortunately. Awesome. On your website, there's an FAQ section. I love FAQ sessions. They're terrible. Okay? Who here, when you tell somebody I'm a doctor, or I'm a podiatrist, or I'm an accountant, gets asked, oh, by the way, my accountant is horrible, get asked those common questions? Do we all get asked common questions? Yeah? Because once they realize what you do. Now the question is, if we made a list of every single question you get asked around a party or a barbecue or an event, they're very similar, they're the same. Have you actually answered those questions using different formats? Not just text. Text is low priority because it's a poor way of communicating. You can ask your questions like, hey guys, my name is Hardy. I do growth, marketing, digital, hang around bees and stuff. Get stung by them all the time. But that's what's special about it. In video, in text, in images. You have to pick 10 questions within your industry, within your product or services, or your business, whichever one you want to break it down. Answer those questions, but not just in text. Then you have an opportunity to get indexed on YouTube, on Google, and content created to be shared across the social media sites. Any questions so far? I'm just going to grab my water bottle because we're going to get to something practical. We're going to log into the internet. Thank you, Tam. Alright. What time do I have till? Sorry? Around 5 an hour?
45 minutes.
4 people. Alright. I need a volunteer. Somebody who has a business who is willing to come down here and work with me, and we can work on a bit of a content plan. Who wants to do that? You can stay there if you want, but
Somebody's not in web.
somebody's not in web. What do you do?
Completely different, manage an Aboriginal community organisation.
Well, that's a very cool challenge. Because from a content perspective,
We've got a lot of content.
what's the, okay, do people use the content often? How is it?
Well, we offer a tour that we can go on physically, and then we have video of people talking about, giving information about places
Okay.
on the tour.
So how do you guys pick those topics?
The places, there's information about the places that we
Okay.
think are significant.
So how do I find you in the first place?
Because you're visiting the town and you Google the town's name,
Which town?
Walgett.
Okay. Awesome.
Sorry, Wallet.
WALGEWT 2832 is the postcode.
Okay.
It's a remote area.
Cool. So do you get a lot of tourists there?
No.
Why is that?
Because it's got a bad, scary reputation.
Bad
So we
tourists.
need to change the branding of the town.
Yeah. What's unique about the town?
It's Aboriginal cultural heritage and its environmental values.
Yeah. Has it been on the media? Has it been on the media for those purposes, for those reasons?
Yeah.
Okay. Has that do you guys talk about those often? Or and so what happens when there's a negative news? What's the plan? Do you guys have like a plan or a strategy of
No,
perhaps
we
something
need a
that's
plan.
happening?
We need a plan. Like there was negative news about how bad the school was
Yeah.
not so long ago.
What are the challenges faced by the school in the first place?
Kids with behaviour issues,
Okay.
and teachers finding it difficult to handle.
Yep. All right. So when you get people coming visiting, what sort of people come and visit you there?
Green nomads,
Yeah.
people involved in education, government people,
What's the population of the town?
3,000,
What's the nearest major city?
Dubbo.
Dubbo. Okay. Cool. So grey nomads, 3,000 people, has some really good old cultural values and heritage. Okay. So if I was to write, do you guys often publish blogs and articles and videos and stuff?
Our most regularly, our fresh content is Twitter stuff. So
Yeah.
we put out almost daily Twitter.
What's the engagement on that? Have you looked at analytics.twitter?
No?
Okay. If you haven't, sign up. And that's the problem with Twitter, which I absolutely hate, is it's a great platform that they have, which is analytics.twitter. However, by default, it's not active. So the day you activate it, I'm hoping they change it, it wasn't the case 6 months ago. And the day you activate it is the day they start tracking all your tweets. Okay? And the amount of information you get out of it, if that's your platform, that's your strategy, that's when you're going out there, utilize analytics.twitter.com, understand it, have a look at it, find people.
We seem to be gradually building those numbers, and
Cool.
we notice, when we make certain tweets, say with environmental content, we get a whole lot more.
Do you have 10 primary topics that you guys have, the primary hashtags that you can target when you're sending out a tweet? Is that included in
I
the
usually
strategy?
don't. I only stick in hashtags if I want.
I'm going to make a suggestion if I may. So if I'm going to send out tweets, understanding what the topic is, find two things. Number one, most relevant hashtags out there around the world about that topic. Okay. Number two, influencers that are very interested in that specific topic or issue. Tag them in it.
Yes.
I suppose three, put your website for the town in there or a bit of a history or an interesting fact about the town. So then what you're trying to do is you're highlighting an issue. You're asking support from an influencer when you're actually sharing something positive. It's like, here's the problem we have, here's something beautiful, and I need your help and support. You'd be surprised how many celebrities, politicians, government officials, people will actually respond. Because here's the interesting thing, why are we in this room? And that's the thing you always understand by your clients. Why are we in this room? What brings everybody together? Joomla. We all know something about it, we all part of it, we all have a website in it, or plan to have a website built in Joomla. So you overlap with your common goals and your objectives. So you being a small town in a remote area 10, 20 years ago, yeah, that's a valid excuse. And modern day, that's actually an opportunity if you know how to utilize it. We are untouched, we're environmentally friendly, we're unique, we have a heritage, we have a history, we have a culture, we have the natives here, but we are also faced with a challenge we need to support. It's how you put it together as an article, as a piece of content, and you communicate it to the world, determines whether it's going to be positive, negative, or it's just going to stay the same. And then over time, it decays and gets worse. So, let's do a little exercise. Who here has used Google AdWords Keyword Planner? Show of hands. AdWords Planner. Yeah. Who uses it for keyword research? Who uses it for researching topics for blogs? Alright. We're going to look at Keyword Planner, but before we do that, actually, should we start difficult or should we start simple? No. Definitely no. I'll show you the hard way and then we'll look at the simple way. Alright, so we've got the, let's see if I'm connected to the Wi-Fi. Yes, I am. Okay. Yeah, my spelling is terrible, guys, so I do apologize. Now, I'm going to show you a few interesting things about this page. Okay. In this particular page, does it actually scroll down? I think it does. No, it doesn't. Okay. When Google presents a result, it also presents you something very interesting that most people actually skip past. If you're creating content, and if you're looking to create engaging content, actually, so what's your name? Wendy. Wendy, can you give me a keyword or a topic that's relevant to your town that people might Google?
Archaeology.
How am I going to spell that?
Sorry,
I
fish.
Fish? What do you mean?
Yeah, fishing or the
Like-
river.
What's the name of the river?
Namoi, N-A-M-O-I, or Barwon, B-A-R-W-O-N.
B-A-R.
W-O-N.
Alright, if I am a great nomad, and if I'm traveling through town, is that correct?
No,
No?
it's a different Barwon River. Oh, there's another
New South Wales?
yes.
I was going to say, oh, there's no oceans there.
That's interesting. Yeah, everyone is there.
Sorry? Okay. But regardless, it's like this is a particular term that somebody will search. On your website,
I should have that listed.
well, that's just one of them. No, that's just one of them. It's tourist information. You guys want to promote the town? I'll be looking at if you're targeting camping sites because I work for a company. We built like 16 websites for all the different mining towns. Had a large population of great nomads traveling through the country. And it's quite a massive industry, $1 billion or $2 billion, insane amount of money spent out there. And they will travel and we build the sites with lots of information. But if you type that in, camping sites, Bondi River, New South Wales, right down the bottom, you get all these keywords down here. This is what are other relevant keywords that people searching. Is this relevant to you?
They're on the road, yeah.
So they're all relevant? Is there anything that's not relevant?
That's a World Heritage site, so I suppose that's why.
Do you guys talk about that? You have actually in your town, you have a World Heritage site.
No, they do though. That's why probably why they come up.
Sorry, which one is it?
Rewana.
This one?
Well, they're all the same.
They're
They're
all-
all related to this World Heritage site there.
So your town, so your website, what's it? Let's bring it up actually. What's the address? No, it's okay.
Sorry, what else? D-H-A-R-R.
G-A.
D-H-A.
D-H-A. H-A.
R-R-I-W-A-A. ELDERS.
ELD.
DERS, GROUP.org.au.
Okay, do you see a challenge here? I see a massive.
So what happened there?
Your website's down, your server. It's okay. It could be my spelling. So we're just going to look at this website. I'm going to do a few things with this site today. And I'm hoping that each and every one of you sort of take a few things away. Hopefully you can use it. Okay, so the first thing, I understand that the name is original, so maybe there's a close relationship with the name. They don't want to change it, but my God, it's hard to spell, okay, or to pronounce. But then, how are people going to find it? Why would somebody come to this website? Is a question I'll ask. Well, is it because of the history, the culture, and stuff? Yeah. So how much content do you have around that?
Marty?
Yes?
Straight at the top of the page, you've got information explaining understanding Walden.
Yeah.
Click, drag. Don't just click on the actual icon and drag. Right, see how that's a box with text in it? It's actually an image that's been saved. That really needs to be a box with the text actually in it that Google can read.
Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So straight up, Google's trying to read information about your site, but because it's saved as an image, you can't do anything with that information. It needs to actually be physical text.
Well, I'm going to show you a tool that will go through all of that and says how to do this. That's why I brought the site up.
You tag me.
That's right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's cool. That's all right. I hope you don't mind me going through it. You're completely okay with that?
It's just great help.
No worries. So, looking at the site, starting from the top, if I put my mouse over this, cool. So you've got the group, you've got the, what do you call the alt tag, you've got the text, you've got the stuff. But then what you need to do more important than that, technically, actually, can I please have a show of hand if you still enter the letters www into a web browser? Show of hands. Hardly ever, like 3 or 4 people. So, I'm forming some bad habits too. But here's the thing: by having the issue with that is whoever started your website, all they need to do is a very easy fix. They need to create what's called an A record or a CNAME, redirecting the domain without the www to your www, or redirecting this domain name to the same IP address as your other site that's on. It takes about 30 seconds to do it, and if you had the logins, I could probably jump into it now. But it's so simple. But something like that drives a lot of your traffic away. Okay? 1, the name is hard to remember. 2, the domain name is incorrect. 3, it's not getting indexed properly in the way the information is presented in some cases. Okay, so get that fixed so that gets diverted there, or get that diverted IP address and then redirect the wwws to the other one, so then you just have a shortened domain to remember. Okay. Now, if I take your domain name, and if I went through, I'm going to run through a few different tools. You guys think okay? Oh, I don't this one now. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Panda. Who uses Panda? The browser plugin. Thank you. Who uses Panda? It's a little plugin that goes to all your favorite sort of websites and gets a feed from all the relevant things that's going on and the hottest topic, and puts it onto your page, and then maybe you could program it so customize it to your topics and then produce more content around it. It's pretty cool. And it gives you like the hottest topics or hottest articles and stuff around it. Alright, so let's take this site and use Google. Google has like lots of the tools, developer, PageSpeed Insights. So, if you just Google PageSpeed Insights, it will give you this little tool. Who's used this before than Peter? Because I know what Peter went through 1.5 years ago. He was obsessed with it. What was the score you got? Did you get 100?
I did when you take Google Analytics out.
Oh, okay. So their own product was breaking it.
You can embed it in to the site and deliver it from the server and you get 100. But
Right.
I can't do
So this tool here, it goes through, runs a scan of your website, and it checks it. It says, gives you a score for both mobile and desktop. It gives you a percentage out of 100. So let's see what you're going to score. Okay, that's okay. This is a good thing. This is a really good thing. At least you know. Okay, so do you know? So it gives you a 30 out of 100 for mobile, and if you go to desktop, it gives you 20 out of 100. Okay, but if you look at the images, look at that. It tells you where the images are and what you need to do to resize them. Now let me pick this image here. Okay, it might not be a very large image. One of the things I'm going to show you that you can easily do, like this is all part of content, guys. Like this is all part of how your website behaves. Because ultimately, even though you create content on social media, you drive it back to your website, you need to make sure your site's ready for it. You need to make sure it's capable of delivering the content straight away very quickly within 2 seconds, otherwise people will leave. It's called TinyPNG. Okay, so TinyPNG. So this is an image I just picked from your website. I mean, it is quite large. Okay, so I'm just going to download this, save image, and let's have a look. So this is about 166 kilobytes. That's okay. Let's see what TinyPNG will do to it. It's not a very large image. I thought it was larger than that. Put it through there. 166. Thanks. Thanks a lot. It's awesome.
They use the sort of with Photoshop.
Okay, cool. Then viewers got wrong. But it's like the total image load is like 2.5 megs. This could also be that you might have images on the server that you normally use on the website, and it might be pulling it out, I don't know. But you can have a look through these areas and look at ways of improving your site and increasing your score. But I think the biggest thing is your mobile, making sure that your website is mobile responsive. Okay. So look at that. Now back to the initial part we're looking at creating content. So if I go back to the search, and if I'm looking at Caravan Park, or if I'm looking at, like, you can create a guide, you can create information, or depending on what you're asking for. So I'm just going to take these. So I'm just going to pretend I'm looking for accommodation around there. I'm just going to take all of this, and I will go back into AdWord Keyword Planner. Not necessarily. It's a very small area, so if you look at the results, how many we have here? You only have 1.2 million. For Google, that's not much. Okay. Sign in. Let's use this accounts. So what we'll do is we'll take those keywords that I just copied from the bottom. You can actually go through other filters, other keywords, and search for it. You can look at your Google Analytics and understand which pages or which keywords have been most popular in driving traffic to your website. And using those keywords, then you can filter it through to determine other relevant keywords. So if I go to Keyword Planner into Tools, to get into this platform, you will need to sign up. And when you do sign up, you have to add a credit card in there. If you do not have an AdWord campaign, Google will not charge you for it, but it will just give you access to this particular tool here. Okay, and that's why it's like I just got it just to do this sort of stuff. Then I've added all these keywords in there, and you can add negative, you can add different terms, the different terminology, or you can get it to go to a landing page on a website. So I'm just going to leave it as that generic. Okay, it's New South Wales, Australia, and get ideas. So what this will do, it will go and start looking at all other variations of terminology and keywords that people search. So up here is what I, this is what I've entered, and you can see up here is like bets on that people between 100 to 1,000 search terms. There's a low level of competition, and if you were to actually going to make pay for that as an ad, it will cost you $1.07. There are different strategies and ways of optimizing that to minimize the cost, but that's just an indication of what you're looking at. So if you go down the next section here, you will see all these different keywords that you can look at. Accommodation, and you can pick them up and say, look, I'm interested in accommodation in, yeah, so I'll add that in there, I'll add that in there, or it could be about history, it could be about heritage, it could be about anything you're interested in. And then build a list of keywords, filter it through again to generate more relevance. You can do that 2 or 3 times, create more a nice, clean relevance. Okay, you can have about 50 keywords or 50 phrases. But what you do, copy them all into an Excel sheet and start grouping them based on topics that they're related to. Okay? Once you've grouped it in your Excel sheet, so let's say I'm just going to add a number of these just randomly to a list, and I will go and say copy all of this. So that's my keywords. I'll copy that. I'll go into an Excel sheet and I'll chuck that in here. Okay, and then I'll look at this. Okay, so this has got North Wales, so I'll bring it down here. King single one bed, that's not relevant. Double accommodation is a different topic. Okay, Broken Hill. So I may end up with like something around double accommodation and something around these as an accommodation, or it could be around captions, or it could be around cars or websites, whatever the topic may be. Then take your keywords here, or each one at a time. You run it through, try to understand what's happening. What's it called? It's Google Trends. Who's used Google Trends before? Yeah. Google Trends is awesome because then you can I can look at accommodations double and see how is this actually trending on the internet over the last 10 years, whether it's a popular topic or not. If it's a dying topic, ignore it. If it's a growing topic, maybe you can go to it. Actually, a very hot topic right now is Bitcoin. Who uses Bitcoin? Just to see what's happening here in the media and everything else, just a comparison. So then, I'll look at. Thank you. See, there's still a whole lot of people spelling it incorrectly. Okay, so it's a hot topic at the moment. It's growing, and it will give you a graph looking like this with areas that is most popular. So double accommodation, fairly consistent over since 2012 to now. Okay, mostly in Australia. If I click on Australia, then you can see a bit more information around New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria. But then here's what's interesting as well. You find these other related keywords that are very specific, very niche to your town, to your area, to your topic. And you can pick these up and then look at the volume of search and start writing an article or start producing a video around that particular group. Okay? So you can, if you find videos difficult, maybe you do a presentation about your town or about its history, why is it what you call heritage listed. And then do the method that I showed earlier, screen record. All it is basically quick time. Okay, and right click on that, there it is, use screen recording. So if I go new video recording, we'll use the camera, screen recording or audio recording, so on the screen. And I can select record, I can select what section of my website I want my presentation to be selected and hide everything else. So you can use that method to create a video presentation and then share that out. But you don't just create random content, you create content that you're actually adding value and answering questions that people have. Okay? Cool. Now, that was the long way to go about content. Here's a quick way of doing it. You've seen this website. I see the crowd. This, yeah? Did I show that before? Alright, cool. answer the public. Sorry, it's been a while.
The eerie-looking guy.
Sorry.
The eerie-looking guy.
Oh yeah, the very creepy looking guy. Okay, he's just standing there to answer your questions now. What does this do? So it's got UK, it's got Australia, it's got. I don't want to subscribe. Norway. Okay. It's got Australia and double accommodation. Alright? This is really cool. So you click on that. He's a very impatient guy. Alright. So when I look at this, it's got one question that it's found that is to be a very common question around that particular topic. Okay? And prepositions and alphabetical. So let's have a look at preposition. That's it. I see. Alright. I'm going to reduce the brightness here on the loads. So it goes away, gets all the data, creates a graph, and categorizes it into different key topics. One it does do it. This is taking way too long. I'm running from my phone. That should be faster than me. What this computer is up? So things these things. Hey? Yeah. I'm searching itself. Thank you. Double. Double M. All right, let's go ask the question. Seems to go. Or maybe not. It generates something looking like this. Okay. It gives you a nice looking graph. Alright, so while this is trying to load. Okay. Where is it? So it generates a nice little graph. It's got the content in the middle. Okay, then it looks at how, why, where, which, who, all the common questions they ask. And then on the outside, okay, where is the content something, or what is the cheapest accommodation in Dubbo, or where is the best accommodation place in Dubbo, or what is the most interesting? Like, it gives you all this stuff, and then it gives you a table down the bottom. The way it generates all this, it's based on the actual history that Google has collected in their search database. Presents it to you in a nice format without you having to go. So you could almost say, with some level of certainty, that if you went out and used quality content around these topics, you will get a decent level of engagement. Okay? But this is basically simplifying your research. Now, who here just writes an article or a blog post and just leaves it there? We've all done that. You write a piece of content and you just leave it there for 6 months. You know, we all do that. It's quite a bad habit. So one of the things I recommend that we always do is, if it's a video, or if it's a presentation, or if it's a blog post, what you need to do is you take that content, you repurpose it and change the format. For example, from today's presentation, I can pick up every single slide, take 2 or 3 key learning points from each slide, get a nice relevant image, put that in there, and then post on social media with a link to the download of the full presentation, or with a link to the video of the whole presentation. Okay? And if you are actually going to create a blog post, you'll find some of your blog posts are very relevant, but things change over time. There might be a new topic that comes out. And if it just sits there, you can bring that blog back out and say, all right, let's write it up a little bit and refresh it a little bit and make it more relevant, or link it to other industry-related content and share it again. Even if you post something on Facebook, if you apply the rules of 70, 20, 10, okay, people, and if you start 2 months later, 3 months later, tracking, you share the same content, people are okay with it. But if you share the same thing every single day, they'll get bored. I can give you an example. There's a friend of mine, I'm not going to put it up on there, and I had to go up to the other day and say, listen, stop, you're killing me. Every time I open my Facebook, I die a little bit. She goes, what do you mean? I said, you posted the exact same message. She was actually asking people to share a business tip. I actually shared a business tip on her page because of it. And I said, my business tip, stop asking people the same thing every single day. And she goes, why did you say that? I said, because you're killing me a little bit. Like, I've spoken to you about it before. Stop it. It's not adding value. You need to share business tips. You need to share ideas. You need to lead the way for the community that you've created within your business group that you've created on there. Okay? And so if it's something that's relevant, feel free to bring back and share it. Don't just wait for others to engage. Any questions, guys? So far? Alright.
How's that one going about
Oh yeah, let's go back to Davo. Yeah. I think something's wrong.
If you want to, I did a bit of a play around. If you type Newcastle Hotel, I even tried Dubbo Hotel and I didn't get a result. I don't think it's got rural Australia very well matched from that. But if you try Newcastle Hotel, that showed up in that search tool quite quickly.
Oh, that one I just showed you before?
Yeah.
Windows keyboards. And I'm spelling horrible. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, look at that. So there's a table. Okay, it gives you all these keywords based on what people search for. Hotels, Premier, Newcastle. Okay, so you can find a whole lot of IDs, and these are all based on the volume of search for that specific area. Where are we going next? We've got, let me bring this up. I'll show you something else. Sorry? Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention as well, Serena mentioned earlier, what you call Facebook Plus is dead. Okay, Facebook Plus is dead.
Google Plus.
Google Plus.
Google Plus, I said Facebook Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Google Plus. Sorry? Buttons on the bottom. Buttons on the bottom. Is it on? Just hold the button for a second. Yeah, it's on. Yeah, it's on. Hello? You turn this off, Tim. Hello? You guys hear me? Hello? That's right. Yeah, you can see the battery. Hello? Hello? That's better. Thanks, Tim. No, what do you call it? Google Plus, yes, it's there. And, but here's the interesting thing. You did mention earlier Google My Business. Who here has completed their business profile on Google? 100% completed? Alright, if you haven't and you offer a local service, please, I can't emphasize this enough, please do it. I have a client of mine, he's a very large accounting firm, there are about 70 accountants. They've got 4 offices in Sydney. Just through the listing on Google Maps or Google My Business, we get about 20 inquiries a week just through that. And that's like, for a period of time, the strategy was just focus on that and make sure it's completed, it's verified, we've got relevant content, we add images and ideas on there and share it. Because every time you do a search on your phone, you notice a little map on Google, map pops up on the top of Google results. Those results are based on what people have entered into the actual listings with Google. If you can verify that and make that complete, it compares it to other businesses and how prominent you are. And then it will show it. So, to demonstrate that, we built an app for it, to simplify it. So this app, we built it in the office a couple of years ago, and it has no data backend, no database, we don't maintain anything. All it does, if I'm here and if I do a search for a pharmacy, okay, it will give me a list of pharmacies in the area. Nearest one is 83 meters away, the next one is 200 meters away, the next one is 265 meters away, and so on. But then if that's by distance, because that's the nearest to me. Then the next one is if I go by prominence. Prominence is one of the values that Google Maps have in their back end. So when we go through the APIs, so this little thing says prominence, we're like, oh, this is interesting. I wonder if prominence is an algorithm that determines prominence. Oh yeah, of course it is. So the pharmacist that is currently Chemist Warehouse and Haymarket, that's 88 meters away from us. But if I change my listing to prominence, and if I set a radius of 3,000 meters or 3 kilometer radius, that pretty much goes all the way across the bridge in Piedmont and all the way across to Newtown and back. I want to know the most prominent or respected or valued pharmacy in the eyes of Google within that area. Guess who wins the title? Price Time Pharmacy in Oxford Street, 1.1 kilometers away. Between here and Oxford Street, that pharmacy is at least 10 others. But these guys are coming up. So you as a business owner, you have to think about why is Google giving preference to these guys within that distance? And how can I be that business? Because when you, yeah, sure.
You said prominent data or relevant data.
Yes.
Can you talk more about what relevant data is for the purpose of
Sure.
what business?
Content. So if you're a pharmacist, oh, actually, let me think of a good example. If you're a travel agent, and I say travel agent, it's a very broad term. But if you are a travel agent called student flights, the word student is a more prominent or more niche within the industry of travel. But if you're a travel agent that specializes in cruise, okay, and you just say we're a travel agent, you're not going to win. You're just competing against something very broad.
This is in reference to the Google My Business portion.
Yeah.
Not a blog, but the
Google My Business, yes. But there's something else though.
Yep.
Remember I had this slide, I had consistency.
Yep.
Understanding what are your primary keywords, what are your primary hashtags, what are primary messages you're sending out part of your planning. Okay? You repeat the same thing everywhere. One of the things that Google actually looks at, well, there's I think 3 or 4 things they look at when it comes to your listings is your phone number, your website address, your physical address, and then your category, I believe it is. So if you have your website, your address, your phone number, and what category your listing is published on Google Google Maps in a certain way, but then Google Maps goes and indexes white pages, yellow pages, Yelp, and 50 other directories, but you have different contradicting information, you're not going to be as valued as the next person. So you need to make sure those three things, your physical address, your phone number, your website, and email address, so your contact information, is the same.
So where you use relevant
directories that automatically put listings in for you.
They're relevant, that's what they call them.
So where you use
Everyone's got the same problem, and you don't have to worry about them. You just need to-
I think they have a different sales strategy, those guys. I think they try to put everybody in there and then try and contact you and sell you something. Like a lot of directories start off like that, you know. And directories are a good thing, they're not all bad. Like, there's some amazing ones out there. Look at Craigslist, the worst looking website, one of the hottest on the internet. You know, it's just like, you look at it, just text, like it was built in 97 and it's still probably the same. You know, that's what it looks like. I don't think they've changed anything on there. If it works, don't fix it. That's their approach. And a friend of mine here has a website, he's in Melbourne, and he built it, and he's got about 5,000 quotes, jokes, and they're just sort of short jokes, like quote jokes type of stuff. And he just gets like ton of traffic on there, that side, just on the advertising generates $3,500 a month. Just through AdWords. And he doesn't touch it. He has not touched it in 4 years. And it's just sitting there. Why? Because the content is relevant. Because the content is consumed, because people like it. It makes sense and it's not boring, it's just relevant to what they do. But if you set up your listing on Google and you have the same content, you have the same information, it's just consistent, that makes it more relevant.
So if you do all the relevant ones, you know, like web search and
All the big
all the
sites.
major ones, as long as that's all up to date for me.
Yes. Yeah.
I have had.
But you have to update your Google Maps listing, make sure that is 100%. And keep an eye on that. And it will track it. It will tell you how many people went there, and how many people made a call, or how many people. Actually, one second. I'm pretty sure I've got the app here as well. Google My Business. Okay, so you can get the app on your phone. You can claim a business, add a business, and you can have multiple profiles on there. So I've got heaps of them. So now I'm just going to go to one of these guys here, and then you can look at the stats, and there's a lot of engagement. There's a lot of calls and inquiries made through that. There we go. Okay. So I just opened it up and it said, the first thing it says to me on here is an advice from it, it says stay current. Businesses with recent photos typically receive more clicks to their websites. That's directly from Google. They're not just telling you that, they're basing that based on their collection of all their stats across all sites that it runs. Okay? So if I go to Insights, there we go. So in the last 30 days, we've had 2,250 searches for this particular site. And let me just go to here. And of that, 11% have gone directly to the website. 252 people have gone straight to the website from there. And if you look at the stats, it's just like insane the amount of traffic you can generate out of it if you actually just optimize that really well. So even if you don't build a lot of content, a lot of videos, a lot of stuff, just make sure the content that you have on your listings are really nice and clean, relevant, tidy, and linked properly to the correct website. Okay. So it gives you like a really cool little dashboard. So I can see in the last week, in the last 7 days, we've had 13 calls for this particular. Actually, no, that's the last 30 days. We've had 13 calls to this office alone. That's just one of their offices. Okay. Now. Why does this light up so badly? It's useless. How do I? Yeah. I've actually done it. No, I don't think it's a feed.
It's just two microphones in place.
Oh, is it off? Oh, no. Hello? Hello? Which one's that? Oh, cool. That's cool. All right, so I think that's. I'm just trying to remember. There was something else I was going to share with you guys as well. So we've gone through Google Analytics, Google Keyword Planner, Google Trends, the developer tool. Then you're looking at. There are a few other tools. If you use it, there's a one called. Who's used SEMrush? What do you think of SEMrush?
Oh, it's okay. You can pay for it.
Yeah. It uses some really crazy data of what's available. It's a tool that helps you analyze your competition in the market. Oh, that's the wrong website. They do have a free or limited sort of access, but you can get a license to get some really cool insight into the market, into the industry, into the competition, and what's going on. So if I was to add, let's go Australia. Why don't we add Combank? The Combank.com.au? office.com. Cool. There we go. So it gives you like a bit of traffic if you go the last 6 months. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's Australia.
Maybe that's the spam, the phishing site.
That's probably more like it. I don't think they'll have a review. The people go to .com.au. So it tells you like the volume of traffic, the amount of paid search, and the visitors breakdown for like, in April and May and June, between the two sort of, it's a guesstimate. It's not accurate 100%, but it's a good indicator of what's going on. So then you can look at the keywords that people use, and if you run your website through this, you can see keywords that people use for your website and the positions of how you are actually ranking on Google, what content that is relevant to you that's not currently ranking. You can write about it to try to push it up and create some nice content around it and educate people around it. It will really help. Also gives you a list of your competitors in the area and a whole bunch of other stuff. You can set up some automation rules and stuff like that. I do have a paid account somewhere. I just can't remember right now for my LDs and passwords for it. You can run research, you can run backlink analysis, and a whole bunch of other stuff, including SEO recommendations with keywords, titles, blog recommendations, something that I believe they're experimenting with at the moment as well. That's a really cool tool you can use.
It's found Hardy, the smaller the entity, the more sketchy the information becomes.
Yeah.
But big ones like Combank, great information.
Yeah.
But like, Joe Blogs, web services, Yellow might be a little bit sketchy.
The other one that you could probably have a quick test is called rank. Okay, so these are all tools to help you audit your site. So if you go to, where can we go? Tim, you're going to come up, aren't you, for this one? Where is he? I think Tim's going to come up. Who is this? Do we know who this is?
Yeah.
Excellent. So this particular tool here, okay, let's run it. I think it's just some SEO there. Use of content SEO, just drive traffic, lead generation. There we go. So this particular tool goes through your website, gives you a quick little check of how your website's behaving, how it's all going, what is there, what's not, and potentially what you could do to fix the issues on your site. So this gives you a score out of 100 as well. So let's see how these guys end up scoring. And I'll actually cover this table. This table is quite interesting. Alright, so if you look at this, it's still loading. So it gives you, like it says, okay, yeah, 58.4 out of 100, pass to improvement errors. Okay, and then you go through the checklist. Title tag gives you a sort of information about the title tag. Okay, meta description gives you a bit more information and takes you to other sources and all that sort of stuff. And then looks at how Google's presenting your results at the moment. And then looks at the breakdown of your page. H1 tags, H2 tags, H3 tags. So H1s are very important. You don't have too many of them. And it's taking a sample out of, this is a touch screen. This is cool, I didn't know. Alright, so I'm going to need the mouse there. So then you can see the H1 tag and or H3, what's been used on the page, and how you can improve it. If you go down here, okay, this is basically the frequency of use, and that's what that is all about. How often have you used the word hire developer programmer on that particular page that you're currently looking at, and where have you used it? Ideally, you want to, if it's your primary focus and it's the primary driver for business and lead generation or marketing or messaging, whatever you're doing, you want to have high volume of usage for whether it's the word developer or programmer or Joomla or something else, and the high frequency, using your title, description, and headers, okay, and your anchor tags and your images as well. and then it actually runs a table like I think the paid version does, because you've got this table at the top part is 1, 2 keywords, and then there's 3 keyword variations of it as well. So if you've got like a long tail of keywords, then you can use the table, or by understanding that, then you can do an assessment yourself to say, these are my primary keywords from the research you've done, how often do I use it across the site? Because it's important for search engines to pick it up, because every result that you see here, okay, up the top there, that blue, that's your title. Okay, and the rest in the body, that gets picked up from the, all that gets picked up from the body of the page, and the title gets picked up from the title of your page. And if you don't define some aspects of it, I think, like if you don't have a title, it will automatically try and generate something for you, or give you a default title. Okay. And a really good way to see everything across your website, for all of that, to see how your content's been indexed by Google, is you take the website and you use this little command. Just go back to sites. Okay, so what we're saying here is, hey Google, give me a list of every single page that you have indexed on my website, and I want to know how they look like. Okay, so you can then just go through and check it. And these guys have got quite a lot of pages, but generally I just jump to the end. And the reason why I do that is I want to see the number of pages that has been indexed by Google. And you can see there's about 480 pages on there. Okay. The other thing you can do to find specific things that people have, for example, when you do your keyword research or article research for producing content, it's not just understanding volume, it's about understanding not just volume of search, also understanding competition. I call it supply and demand on content. So the supply and demand of content works in a way where we've got a keyword that people are interested in, and we want to know, we already know how many people search for that keyword because of the tools we use. We want to understand how many people on the internet are actually talking about it in the specific parts of their website that is the most relevant to us, and that is usually the title. So if I went to, okay, if I typed in all in title, okay, so if I type in all in title, Joomla Developer Sydney, or Small Business Marketing Sydney, or Campbelltown, or wherever you are, or whatever services you offer, then, and you run a search on this, Google will return a list of every single website that has a variation of those keywords in there. Okay, so you can see this is what's currently Joomla Developer Sydney, Joomla Developer Sydney. So you can see all these sort of keywords coming up, and you can look at the numbers here, 10 results, and you can customize that by country to make it more local if you wanted to in Australia, to see who are the key players that are targeting this particular word. Additionally, what you can do is look at, okay, title is important, taking a note of the number for Australia or globally in URL. Alright, so in Australia, all in type, all in URL. Okay. So you can see in Australia there are only 2 people that actually have Joomla Developer Sydney in their URL. But if you go global, okay, or just Joomla Developer without the word Sydney, because it's hardly localized now, okay, 8,000. Okay, so if you go title, so you want to look at volume of search, if you want to understand volume of search using AdWord Keyword Planner, to understand what people are looking for. You're looking at your keywords that you think is relevant to you, and then pick up the keyword from Google, so the suggestions from Google, put it through, generate your list, clean up your list, make it into categories, put it through Google Trends, get more ideas, okay, see how it's trending up or down, and if it's trending well, then take that group, and then come in here to understand the number of websites targeting it in the URL, as well as in their title. Keep all those numbers together, and then you run a comparison on your Excel sheet to say the ratio of search versus content that has been produced around this topic. But what you'll find, everything is text. Now I'm going to give you an example of why you should do video. Okay, so everything is text. I went through this exact same process for one of my clients and trying to get them ranked for 0. So if I went to advantages of 0. Oops. Okay. Hey, thanks Google. Is that a street sign? Okay, oh yeah, that's a street sign. Jeez, can't see anymore. They're getting very funny about it. Hold on 1 second. Or was it disadvantages? Probably did both. Disadvantages, sorry. So, we looked at advantages and disadvantages. So if you look at not the very top, you've got the video and you've got the post. They're both from the same website from my client. And there's also one for advantages as well. I don't know why it's lost its position. But if I went to video search, okay, so it pops up in advantages, it pops up disadvantages in both of them. Now, these two videos have generated so much views, it's ridiculous. It's like they've had a lot of views. This is not this one, the other one. I think that's the one with the 9,000 or something, 10,000. There you go. We published that a little while ago, and it's just an accountant talking about an accounting software. Accountants are introverted, you know, they don't like to get out there, but we tried and it worked, and it's been working, and it's 2015, and we're still publishing more content. And they're nothing too serious. That video, if you look at it, was actually done on my iPhone. We just had a little recorder with a microphone to get a good quality sound, and on the iPhone we had two lighting points. A low budget, easy to do, and it's paid for the whole campaign, just with the leads and stuff that's been generated. So I know where it comes from because we've been tracking it all. I think that's all from me. Does anybody have any questions? Yes?
So if I've got clients who have chosen to go the Vimeo route for their videos, got really nice videos, but they're not on the YouTube, is it a recommendation that they should in fact have some public presence on the YouTube channel as well?
Depending on the content you create, like I would recommend having it there because YouTube is a massive market.
Yeah.
And if their content on Vimeo is just a high definition type of video that's been produced, great, put it there as well. But here's the interesting thing, if you create video, and be very careful with this, correct me if I'm wrong, it's very important when you create videos, do not share your YouTube or Vimeo videos on YouTube, on Facebook. Upload it directly onto Facebook because they are the competition, or vice versa. Okay? Go for it.
Facebook rewards you if it's organic.
Yeah.
However, they have started working with YouTube link there now. It will pay organically within Facebook to keep doing Facebook, whereas previously they wouldn't do it. So
Okay.
they've adjusted it so it can play there.
Cool.
For what it's worth, people use the two channels differently. So we'd actually go back to what your client wants to achieve. Really short thing I'd say there is that video, do you want people to find you or not?
True. Like kids sit there and say, hey, let's jump on YouTube.
One of the reasons why they use it is because some of it are actually targeted for clients, not for general content, but they do have public channels.
That's okay.
But to go back to today's presentation that's on right now, it's if you're wanting to use these tools to get clients.
Well, they want that as well.
Well, if they want that, then I would be applying what's been said in this presentation.
Yeah.
Because they need to actually be found online.
Correct.
That's
why
why
one channel.
That's why I just raised that question.
Yeah.
It comes down to what's the objective, what are we trying to achieve? If we want to be found, then that's one of the channels that has a lot of traffic. And if they're just worried because it doesn't look as presentable, then okay, maybe it's not a,
So if you don't want to say something that you've actually said several times in this presentation, the repurposing of content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's key, like rather than worry about the one size fits all, repurpose.
Repurpose it over time, repurpose on different platforms, go back and forth, recreate it, amend it, change it, make it relevant to what's new. Who actually here saw the tweet that was done by Oreo a few years ago during the Super Bowl? Super Bowl, in the middle of the game, power went out. You know what Oreo did? They sent out one tweet with a nice image and said, I'll bring it up, you can still dunk in the dark. That went viral. Okay, so, Oreo tweet. This particular image, okay, power went out to Super Bowl, and if you follow Super Bowl, everything is about the ad break in Super Bowl, how much money they spend. That won the award for most impressive ad. It was just one tweet that responded to it. It's an opportunity marketing. You have to take advantage of it. If it presents itself, be there. But do it in a nice way. Cool. Any other questions?
Have the exam done early.